Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. We actually had the opportunity to go to the Middleburg Film Festival this weekend, and the first film we saw was Waves. So Waves is a new film from A24. It is also directed by the director of It Comes at Night. It stars some really talented up-and-coming actors.
The acting is really great in this film. Taylor Russell plays the character Emily in here, and she is the younger sister to Kelvin Harrison Jr.'s character, Tyler. They both are really great in this film.
They both give some really raw and powerful emotional performances. I have to say, the first half of the film that revolves mainly around Tyler was so visceral, and his performance really portrayed someone who is at their lowest lows, and it's just incredible the amount of range this character shows in the beginning first hour of the film.
I really like how Taylor Russell conveys really great emotion in this film. I really thought she stole the movie a little bit for me. I just thought everything was very impactful.
Yeah, and when you have these two polar opposites in a character, you have Tyler, played by Kelvin Harrison Jr., who's very intense. You're seeing these emotions that are very raw on his sleeve. And then you have Taylor Russell's Emily, who is a little more subdued, and you see her have her emotions coaxed out of her, and seeing a character that is kind of being broken down because of the events happening in the film. So you get the polar end, someone who's very out there with their emotions, and someone who doesn't really want to share them, and then as they come out, it's just as powerful.
Then you have Sterling K. Brown, who's really great in this film. He plays the father Raymond to Emily and Tyler. You can see that he is struggling with himself because he's trying to live his past through his son.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I really thought was super intriguing about his character, is that he wants to be a good father. He may seem at times that he's pushing things a little far, but at the end of the day, he wants what's best for his family. And I think that performance of a character that is very caring deep down, but then is pushing people and maybe leads to some terrible things, meaning the best intentions. I thought that was a very good performance by him. So Alexa Dennis is also in this film. You may know her from Euphoria, and she plays a very similar to her character in Euphoria, and I even saw some parallels in the way this film is shot in the first half to Euphoria. It has that same vibe to it. I know they are both from A24, different directors, completely different setups, but you get that feel from the first half of the film.
The filming style in this movie is very interesting. In the first frame of this film, you see them driving in a car, and it's like a 360 camera angle. And at the very end of the film, it ends that way, and I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, the movie has a lot of parallels to the first half of the film, to the second half of the film, just having the two siblings living their reality very differently. And then you also have the fact that this film, like Noelle said, uses that panoramic style. There's a lot of kinetic energy to this movie. A lot of the scenes have a lot of movement. There's not a lot of still shots, other than some really focal, impactful ones. The movie's always kind of moving, and I think that helps with the pacing and the overall value of the film.
Also, there's a lot of blue and red lighting throughout this film that I noticed, and it'll go to cuts.
Yeah.
I feel like that is during the emotions of each of the characters, where there would be more red lighting where Tyler was upset, and then the Emily would be more blue. And it also is very symbolic to the name of the movie, Waves, so the waves of emotions of human beings. So
yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and when it comes to the coloration of the film, you see when Tyler is going through his manic stages, a lot of flashing, intense, bold lighting, and you see a lot more calming and subtle lighting when Emily's going through her experiences. So like Noelle said, the waves of emotion are reflected in the film style as well as the actual characters themselves.
Lucas Hedges plays Luke in the film. We forgot to mention him in the beginning, and he adds a comic relief in this very emotionally draining film that I thought it needed.
Yeah, he added a lot of levity to this movie in a first act that is incredibly intense. You have him come in, and it kind of cuts and undercuts that tone of the film, and I think it worked really well, especially with how his character ends up playing out in the end of the movie. Not to spoil anything, but his emotions coming out in him as kind of a subdued character like Emily makes it just as powerful as the intense emotions of Tyler in the beginning.
So one of my dislikes in the film is the different stories that go from Tyler to Emily. The two stories have a climax and then an ending, and then we go on to Emily's story, and it's this whole build up to another climax and then an ending, and it feels like two completely different films, and it makes the movie feel longer than it actually is.
Yeah, I'll have to say, while I have no real problem with the tonal shift and the cut between the two films, I can see how having almost two complete movies back to back may be a little jarring for some people, and does make the pacing seem a little longer than it would have otherwise. But I do like the parallels between the two stories. You see the beginnings and the buildings of relationships and how they can go really, really well and how they can go really, really bad and how people handle their inner anger and inner struggles. There's just so much emotion to this film. I know we say that a lot, but that is really the hallmark of this film, is the emotion and the relationships between people. I think the chemistry between the cast in this film was really, really good. There was a scene that I found really, really touching between Emily and her father. Sterling K. Brown's performance as a man who is totally beaten down by his life, trying to do his best and seeing everything around him crumble. His wife is thinking about leaving him. He has lost his son at this point, essentially. And seeing Emily, a more calming character, come to him as her father and just have that relationship, saying it's okay to be angry, it's okay to struggle, and that they're there for each other. And at the end of the day, even when people commit horrible acts, they're still your family. And how do you balance that? There's just a lot of questions here. And I thought that individual conversation was really, really touching and really, really heartfelt.
I give this movie a 7 out of 10. I thought the acting was really great in this film. Stylistic choices as well, I really enjoyed. I liked all the different camera work. But the length to me and the way it was filmed caught me off a little bit, and that's the part I didn't like. So that's why I had a little lower as a 7.
So if I were to rate this movie, I would actually give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think it was excellent. I think the kinetic style of the film adds to the already incredible performances. This movie is so in your face and raw, both in performance, delivery, and just film style. The use of lighting, camera angles, and I forgot to even mention the score of it is very pounding, very intense. You're really in these situations with these characters, and I just think it was really well done by the director and the cast all around. So that was our review on Waves. Let us know if you end up seeing this movie, if you're excited for it. It's a movie that I think is going to get a little bit of award type. It's something that I definitely recommend checking out. So put those comments down below, and remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.
Bye.